Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the Get Down. This is Beats, episode 7. I just want to say thanks everyone that's been sending me messages and giving me feedback and all the comments in the inbox. I really appreciate everyone listening and tuning in. And yes, I will get around to answering some of the questions soon. I might even interview myself. But for this week, we have an extremely talented human coming onto the show. Another born and bred Melbourne native, yet he's making his mark globally with his unique and distinct style of hip-hop production. A personal favourite of mine as a rapper and a producer, a veteran of the game for 15 years plus, an original member of the almighty Cartel posse. Welcome to the Get Down, Flu. Fluey, what's up, my man?
Hey, man, Beats, thanks for having me on, man. How you doing?
Good, mate, yourself? What's going on down there?
Oh, man, it's crazy over here, man. Just trying to, stay mentally fit and physically fit and, try and be productive with a lot of spare time on my hands, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy in Victoria right now. So, yeah, man, just trying to survive, man, doing what we can.
Yeah, I saw on the news today, in Melbourne, Beyond Blue is up 77%. Like the phone calls being made to Beyond Blue, and mental health's massive over there at the moment.
It does not surprise me, man. I take medication for some mental issues myself. I had for about 15 years. So even I'm feeling it. Like at the start, I was like, man, this is fine. People used to go off to war. What are we complaining about? But you don't realize kind of subconsciously what it's doing to you, because all of a sudden I found my anxiety has just gone through the roof, but without me realizing why. I've only just realized it recently. I was like, maybe it's all this shit, but yeah, man, that's sad to hear, man. So it's been a crazy year.
Has it what? 2020? Fuck off already. Yeah.
I know, man. Tell me about it.
I can only hope that the way you've been coping is in front of a drum machine.
Yeah, man. Look, it's funny thing is I go through stages, man. Sometimes I won't even look at the studio for a couple of weeks. I try never to force it, Yeah. So, but I actually am sitting in front of the sampler right now as we speak. So today, I was getting busy. But funny enough, lately I've just been more focusing on, fitness and health and shit like that. And just trying to, like I said, man, got so much time to kill now. I'm just trying to be productive in at least one form or another.
It's crazy, isn't it? So far I've had Glenn, Mark, and so that's two, and reasons from Melbourne, but he's not down there, but he's doing it hard over in Singapore, so 3 people that are really feeling it. And I've been liaising with graphic designers and stuff down in Melbourne, and they're just it's enough's enough, man.
Yeah.
And
it's been crazy. It was funny when it first all started in January or whatever. My wife came back from overseas, and she was in the middle of it starting to pop off, and she was coming back from Europe, and she was messaging me about this fucking virus thing, and I was like, oh man, it'll blow over in a few weeks and shit. She's like, nah, man, it looks pretty serious, and I was like, nah, it'll be cool. And then here we are, man. What is it, October? Stage 4 lockdown in Victoria. I was very wrong about it. So
yeah. To be honest, I didn't believe it at the start. I'm like, nah, I was all on that pandemic train, and I've still got doubts in the back of my mind about the release. I think it's, mankind had a play in it, but whether or not it was released or when I knew it was serious, when they said we're fucking stopping the footy, and I'm like, oh, because they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. For Australia to do that, it's some serious shit. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, man, it's fucking crazy, man. It is crazy.
Fuck. Yeah. All right. Well, on to more positive shit. So, you're the first one I'm actually doing off paper.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I had issues with my laptop, so it's in the shop. So I'm smashed out the questions at work. Got to take it back to paper and pen. All right, mate. So with previous people that I've had on that are to do with music, specifically hip hop, one of the first questions I've been asking was, what was your introduction to hip hop, and what made you go on to become a contributor and an artist yourself? So, what I mean by that question was, what songs or what artists grabbed you when you were younger and made you fall in love with hip hop, and then when and what was the process of you saying, I'm going to do this myself?
Yeah, it was. I actually still remember it pretty well. I was in like grade 5 or something, so like 8 or 9, maybe just before 10. And I on the holidays, I used to go and stay at my grandparents' place. During the holidays, there was this next door neighbor that lived across the road. This Greek kid, forgot what his name was, but I'd be out the front, messing around as you do as a kid, and he'd be out the front. And then I don't know, just we struck up a conversation. And I ended up going in his house to have some food and stuff, and went in his room, and he had all these posters, of rappers and stuff, Snoop, Naughty by Nature, etc. And he lent me 1993, that Naughty by Nature album. Just come out, I think. And I was like, oh, sweet, yeah, cool, man. So I went back across the road, put it on, and I don't know, man, something about the rhythm, the tempo, the rappers. It was just like nothing I'd ever heard before. I was always right into music, though. Even as a young kid, I'd emotionally connect to a lot of songs, even shit on the radio. But as soon as I heard that, man, I was like, yeah, nah, this is the music I want to, listen to forever. And then from there, obviously, started expanding my collection. And back when they still sold CDs in those plastic sleeves, to protect it. And, I was like, my mum used to have to go into the store and buy me some of the CDs because they were 18 plus and wouldn't sell them to me and shit. And as for doing it myself, that came way later though. Like not until I hit my early 20s did I start thinking to do it or try and do it properly. But there was a huge gap in between. I was just a fan, or still am, but I was just listening though for a long time prior to all of that.
Yeah, right. So what do you reckon, like 22, 23, how old were you then?
When I decided to take it seriously, it was like 2007. So what's that? 13 years ago.
Yeah. So
it would have been like, 22 or something like that. 21, 22.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I was just like, I don't know. I think I can't. Oh, that's right. No, I dropped out of high school, and I was just fucking around doing dumb shit for years. And then I saw, a friend of mine came around one day for a session, and he was like, oh, I've enrolled to this music course, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, man, free studio. I use it to do the raps. And I'd started jotting raps and fucking around. I started thinking, free studio. Yeah, So I enrolled to this class just to use the studio, basically, and fucked around for a year. I didn't even pass the certificates or anything, man. It was like sound engineering or some shit like that. I didn't even pass. I just used the studio to record some really terrible demos, man. But it was a good experience because I met a few good people, like-minded people, creative people. Also just hanging out with musicians, even other genres. I found myself talking a lot to even metalheads and stuff like that because they had interesting perspectives on music. So it was cool to sort of just be around all those kind of personalities, though, regardless of what genre people were into.
Yeah, creative minds.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of gets the juices flowing. So you used to battle for a bit there, didn't you, when you started?
Yeah, there was I thought my way in would be battling. So there was a few local battles that I used to have in my area, down the end of the train lines my way. So I entered a few of those and won a few of them. And then I entered I think Revolver, one of the Revolvers as well, and got my ass handed to me by Justice. But that was back then. Understandable, He went on to win that night. So I think I got a couple of rounds in, and then there was 8 of us left or something. I ran into him, and then he completely killed me. But that was his forte, I was still sort of just fucking around. But I wonder what happened to that kid, man. Whatever happened? What happened to that dude? Whatever happened to him?
I was just about to say that. Oh, all right. Well, I put it that he used to write his raps. So I reckon he used to write him freestyles because Motion battled him a few times and he had repeat lines. So I'm like, nah. But he was good. No, there's no doubt. You can't take away anything from him. He was good. But
yeah, because he even took out Scribble Jam or some shit one year, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Like that's pretty fucking crazy, man. You know, as well.
Well, he knocked Motion out in the Adelaide battles to get there, and Motion's like pretty unfuckwittable on the freestyles, man. So I remember it. There was like the prize was like, in hindsight, it's pretty borderline racist rap, but the prize was like take the money or take what's in the box, and Motion's like, you don't want what's in the box. You look like a motherfucker that work at Wok in a box.
Oh, right, gotcha. Yeah.
So in hindsight, yeah, I don't know if you'd pull that shit these days. But yeah, so
you probably wouldn't get away with that one these days.
No.
I think, no.
But there was no holds bars back then, eh? Like shit was getting said, and you know I reckon that's the beauty of battle hip hop. It was almost created as a way to fight without violence. You know, that's my sort of understanding of battle rapping. You know, it's like you could go ham. I have seen dudes punch cunts out on stage mid battle.
It's a bit of a weird one sometimes, depending on how you came up as well. Like, you know, some people came up, you know, for lack of a better term, on the streets doing, you know, that sort of thing. And then when they got into battling, it can be hard to, someone's in your face, you know, saying shit to you. You know, it can be quite hard to all of a sudden be like, relax yourself and remind yourself it is a battle.
Yeah.
And that the disrespect is purely in a battle format, because you're not used to it out on the street, someone up in your face talking to you like that without repercussions or throwing down. So I can understand a lot of people got socked in the jaw along the way, you know. It's a funny one. Even like, you know, you see, I've seen a lot even in the States, you know, a lot of videos of dudes getting punched in the face like mid-battle, you know, and then all kinds of shit breaks out, you know.
It's kind of like sports. When I used to play sport as a kid, and then I took a massive break, and then I went back, I played Gaelic footy, and cunts would fucking roll you up, you know, and elbow you, and I'd be like, "Are you fucking right?" And I'd want to go on with it after the game. I'd be in the club rooms, like, have a few beers, want to go on with it, and they'd be like, "Oh, it's just footy banter, mate. You're right." And they were all happy, and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
No, I thought they were trying to start, but yeah. So where are you? Are you from Geelong, or is that the rest of the boys?
No, Melbourne, born and raised, man. Not from Geelong, man. That's Fatty Few is.
Oh, right.
Used to go down there quite regularly and play a lot of shows there at the local there that you know, Few used to put on. That was good times back then, cutting your teeth in various areas. But no, not from Geelong, man.
Yeah, right. I thought a few of you boys were. All right, so I guess what I want to know, and we'll sort of dive into it a bit, because it's fucking Crate Cartel are pretty fucking. You guys are fucking worldwide standard, man. Like your production, raps, you know, the videos. You've got a fucking pretty professional squad, man. With, you know, Henry, Discourse on the videos, the production. Morns is, you know, you can't really fuck with Morns. Gecko, who knows how that dude's mind thinks, and Raven, and then and yourself. It's all so unique, and like, it's when you guys came out, I'm like, oh, here we go, because I cop everything, and you came out, I was just pretty blown away by how diverse you were, and your early raps, you were quite angrier than you are now, and a lot faster and a lot more erratic. So can you talk about like how Crate Cartel formed, like who exactly is in it, and like the early days of Crate Cartel forming?
Well, it was kind of like an offshoot originally, sort of the Hungry Humans.
Yeah,
so it was sort of like that. Then it was like a production name that you know, Phil, aka Gecko, had with a friend of his, you know, and it sort of started branching out. You know, Phil started doing some stuff, you know, got some artwork done. No, Raven got some artwork done via Discourse one day, and then they started becoming tight. And then, you know, Gecko got introduced to Discourse that way too. And then, you know, I came along, met Gecko and started recording at his house, and we all just started hanging out. And it sort of, you know, it was pretty organic in the sense that we all sort of had the same sort of goals and passion for what we were doing. It just turned out that, you know, Discourse ended up being like just crazy talented at multiple different things, and same with Gecko, you know, with raps, beats, and even like graph and stuff like that. And now he's probably, you know, one of the best sound engineers out there. So, but back to it starting, and then so it was sort of, you know, then Raven was like joined it as well, and we were kind of like the original sort of three, and then, you know, basically Morns came. We heard Morns, you know, he started making some noise, and we were like blown away. We're like, fuck, who is this dude? Like, we should reach out. And him and Henry had known each other though for a while anyway, and Morns and I had a lot of mutual sort of friends in the hip hop scene, so to speak. So it was just natural to get him on board as well, you know.
He's so good, isn't
he? Yeah, exactly. So it sort of just formed from there, and it was just, we just came with more sort of just a different approach. And like even on the spot, just learning, man, like some of the stuff Discourse did on the spot, like the first clip we ever released, that Every Step video, like that was his first ever proper video. And it was like,
was it
crazy as it was? Like it looked like it was done by someone who'd been doing this shit for 10 plus years. It was literally like, we were living together at the time. I'd moved in with him, and he was just like, oh, I'm going to try this idea for your video. Stand in front of this fucking green blanket and rap. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But okay, you know, let's do it. And then, like, you know, he starts doing all this stuff in the background, and like, he just had a vision, man, and knew how to, you know, bring it to fruition. And I was just like, fuck, man, you know. So really, like, a lot of it's just about having talented people in your squad, man, to help do the whole package, you know. So I was very lucky, man, very blessed to have like real talented friends that keep pushing you in various ways to get better at what you do, you know?
Yeah, I could imagine that you would, like even with a joint, we had that real healthy one-upmanship, you know, of pushing it, or someone come to the table with something you're like, I'm gonna better that, you know, and there was no malice. It was like, I'm gonna do better than that, or fuck, he's come to the table with that. That's impressive. I'm scrapping these raps and I'm writing something better. So I can imagine your bar would be fucking set real high, hey?
Yeah, like it's look, I mean, it's funny, man. It definitely would be in the back of your mind and stuff. I never really approached it that way myself, but it was more like inspiring as opposed to like competitive in that sort of way. Like hip hop is very competitive, but I was always so like thinking ahead on like what I wanted to do next too much, to the point where I rushed a lot of stuff at the time as well. But that's all part of it. Like I still cringe when I listen to anything prior to flu season, probably like cringe real bad. But you know, now I sit down and look back, have a giggle and go, you were young and you were like keen to make an impression, so you started screaming into the mic, you know, like you know, it takes time to find it takes time to find yourself. And you know, I kind of started a bit late, so I found myself a bit late. But you know, there's no age bracket on this shit. You know, it's weird. Like I see people on like Twitter or whatever, like, man, you're 40, stop trying to rap, like, you know, to other people, and it's like you never see that in other genres. No one says that to a rock guitarist. You know, what is it about hip hop? Like everyone just wants to see fucking little kids doing it. Like it makes no sense to me. Like especially if you do grown man shit, you know, it makes no sense. So it's funny. So you know, I've just hit 35 now. I still feel like, you know, I'm pretty young, man. So I don't really look at the age thing like that at all. You know, so
40's the new 30.
Yeah. Well, they say that, man. Yeah. So you know, but yeah, it's, you know, I still try and sharpen my skills, more so production now, but still enjoy having a bit of a rap here and there, man, when people holler at me for verses here and there, and if they can get it from me eventually. But I can be a bit difficult to get shit from sometimes, you know. But I'm always in my own world doing shit. But yeah, you know, I still enjoy definitely all of it, you know. But it's definitely, beats have definitely sort of become my forte overseas, at least. Not so much here, but overseas, overseas people don't even know I rap or rapped, you know. Right. So yeah,
we'll get to that. I've got that written down. So I assumed you guys you come across like high school buddies, like you didn't meet till later on. And
no high school. It was funny, man. A lot of my high school buddies, you know, that I was close with and stuff, they weren't even into hip hop like that, into music like they were into rap, sorry, but not into making it at all, really. you know, there was various other things that we got into, you know, without divulging too much. But yeah, so I sort of then broke off a little bit from some of my old homies from back in the day because I met dudes like Discourse and Gecko, etc., Raven, you know, and wanted to pursue that music thing. So no, there's definitely no high school connection at all. It was definitely all in our 20s later on. Yeah,
right. So it's you, Gecko, Discourse, Morns, Raven, Wick.
Oh, Wick as well. Yep. Can't forget Wick. Shout out to Wick. Right bad on that.
And is Mike Reed Crate Cartel?
So he's like Raven's best friend, and sort of he was part of, again, the original Hungry Humans. He was one of the founding members of Hungry Humans. So I don't know, you'd probably get a different answer if you ask different people, but he's obviously one of our good mates, you know. So but he's moved into state now and stuff. So
yeah, he's up here. I think he's up here in Queensland now, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he is. And, you know, even Phil's, you know, he moved as well from Victoria. So it's kind of crazy. But, you know, we all still talk pretty regularly. And me and Phil, sorry, when I say Phil, I mean Gecko. We work together a lot because he mixes all my stuff. And because I'm always sending him a bunch of shit, we were still very active doing stuff together. You know, I still see it as a collaborative effort, man, when I send him stems, you know. So, yeah.
I've got to get him on, man. He's like, I've just had I've been real stuck on some of his music recently. Because I moved house, I've gone through a whole heap of old boxes, and I've found like Real Heads Don't Listen and like a heap of shit, and it's just been in there and just how I can't even emulate his fucking voice, man. But just how he does it, and I'm like, and then you listen to the intros, and you're like, how did he fucking pull that off? Like, it sounds so complex as a song, but then you listen to the intro and you're like, that's a real basic intro. And then his voice is almost like another instrument, you know, which is pretty.
Yeah, he can do it all though, man. Like he does jungle, he does other genres as well, man. He's just like he knows what works for him when he's doing raps, and he knows what works for other people, and he knows what works when he does instrumental stuff. You know. Yeah, he's one of those dudes where I still, like, you know, I've known the dude for over 10 years and I still sometimes look at him or listen to his shit and be like, fuck, man, you're on some other shit.
Yeah, how does he do it? That one with all the James Brown samples for the life of me, the name, I can't get it.
I know which one you're talking about. It's been a minute since I've listened to Real Heads, but I know which one you mean.
So that's my fucking go-to Sunday record, man, because it's just like a 20-minute song, man. You know, and it just goes, and the way, with all them James Brown samples in there, and it just switches up from it's a record that I can put on, and my wife doesn't go, turn that hip hop shit off. You know? So she enjoys it too, and I'm like, well, so that's my little segue. Then I go put his slam and shit on, put some goat mob on, turn this off. Fucking hell. So also as with him, so before we move on to your production, when like I said, when you were younger, you were rhyming. I don't know if you want to call it aggressive, but you were pretty in your face and like with that almost multi-syllable and aggressive, and then you really slowed it down. You really slowed down. You got more of a drawl in your voice, and it was like you really rolled across beats instead of bang 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 bang. It seems like you sort of rolled across beat, and you have a really multifaceted style, but yet you and very very metaphor related, and some of them. You know, when you drop an album, I'm always messaging you going, fuck this line, this line, what the fuck, you know. But it's always the third or fourth time I hear it. I've like you and Tomahawk are the two people where I'll hear a line and I'll rewind it and play it again and be like, fuck off, rewind it, play it again. Why didn't I fucking think of that? It's so simple but so brilliant. So what's your writing process like? You get the beat and rap over it? Do you just have shit? Do you want shit to rhyme? Do you want to tell the story? Because I know you're a brilliant storyteller, and we'll get on to fuck this, I'm buying a gun later. But what's your process? You know, if someone sent you a beat right now, what are you doing?
For me, I've got to be in the zone for writing. If someone sent me a beat right now, they wouldn't hear from me for months probably because I'm not in that zone. Yeah. I find when I'm in that zone, stuff that I'm reading online, books,
Yeah.
the radio, driving in the car, just fucking walking around. It just all of a sudden, I don't know how it happens. It just happens, man. Like all come together. Like you start jotting shit down in your phone, man, straight away or on a notepad, whatever, with just ideas. Like I might be watching the fucking 6 o'clock news and they say something, but what they've said is somehow put some other random idea in my head to start off a verse. It's clever and funny. And it's just like, that's when you know you're in that zone. I never try and force it or anything, man. Like if I try and force it, I can hear it myself in the songs. It's like, nah, it's not natural. And to go back to what you're saying with the aggressiveness and then going real chill, I think that coincided literally with me just growing up, man, as a person too. Like my lifestyle all of a sudden was more chill. I wasn't really getting in trouble anymore. I wasn't aggressive as a person anymore. I had a kid, so things like that will humble you, in life as well. And then all of a sudden I just thought I wanted to go from making Aussie hip hop to global hip hop in the sense of something that can be appreciated, hopefully with some other ears across the pond, so to speak, as well. So I went a bit more easier and relaxed in that sense, but still kept it, like you said, it's still multifaceted. Some people might be like, oh, he dumbed it down. And I've had people at gigs say that literally, but it's not dumbed down at all. If anything, it's way more complex than it was, I used to just rhyme multis for the sake of multis because I thought that was good rapping and it wasn't.
Again, like even now, like because I've known you're going to be coming on, I've been cranking your shit and I'm just like, fuck off, man. Like, it's so simple but so effective. And just some of your little punches that are like, like I should have written some down, but you're like, why didn't I think of that? Like just
I appreciate it, man. I do appreciate it.
That real little flip of a maybe the double use of a word or something like that. Like very 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 clever. I've been a fan for a while, as you know. Every time you drop something, I'm in your inbox. Fanboying.
No, I do appreciate it, man. It's I've had people say, sometimes in a negative way, what you said earlier is like, man, it takes me like 5 listens to understand what you're talking about. I like that, man. I've always aimed for that. I think that's a good thing. Like repeated listens, you get something out of it each time. And that's what my favorite MCs back in the day used to do to me, like blow my fucking mind. I was like, oh shit, I finally get that. And it'd be like, even sometimes a year later, I'm just driving around in the car. And I'm like playing something. I'm like, holy shit, I finally get that, So for people to have that oh shit moment, or why didn't I think of that punch? That's what I strived for, man. So no, I do appreciate listeners that actually listen. So it's good
on that cryptic shit, because I think a lot of people these days don't know how to digest hip hop or rap music, and if it's not that meat and 3 veg, fucking Triple J, sounding package, then it's like, 16 hook, 16 hook, 16 hook. Not that there's anything wrong with that format, but I think if it's too hard, if they have to think, like you ain't getting your average punter listening to Illy is not going to go listen to you and Phil, like listen to classics and really get it.
Oh no, definitely not.
It's too much for them to digest, like to try and take on board, and they got to think, So
it's you got to. It's almost like you got to train your ear. Like when I started listening to hip hop, as a kid, I'd rap along to all kinds of shit. Then I moved on to Wu-Tang and stuff, and I'd rap along the lyrics, not knowing what the fuck they were talking about, man. And as I got older and did the knowledge and shit, I was like, oh shit, okay. So and it's years and years of listening that you start to pick it up, man. Like so, these people listening to other more contemporary artists or whatever like that, they're not getting that non-stop training subconsciously in their ear to pick up on the cleverness like that. So it takes years to really clue on, I reckon, to the stuff like that, and then appreciate that type of hip hop, man, that type of writing. It takes a long time. It even took me a while to all of a sudden like go, oh shit, so this is how MCs do it. And it's people like us were exposed to it non-stop though. It's all we listen to. So different worlds, man, completely different worlds to live in.
So do you think you have, like, I know myself, probably one of my strengths is storytelling if in a rap. Like I can do braggadocio, but I just sound like an angry fucking drunk. But I think one of my one of my strengths is storytelling. Like even sometimes third person, you know, or talking about someone else. And I grew up on Ice Cube and Ice-T. Who's like Ice Cube to me is one of the best storytellers that I've ever listened to. So, who were you influenced by, MC wise, like lyrically?
Like now, you know, like for a long time now, it was dudes that make me laugh, man. So Sean Price, rest in peace.
Yeah.
He'd be in my top three. MF Doom, he'd be in my top three. But then also dudes that are super serious, like Carr, Brownsville Carr, Rock Marcy's homie, Rock Marcy himself. Yeah. Dudes like that really, when they were all coming up, really blew my mind as well. You know, if I can chuckle, if you can make me laugh as well, but then also be super respected as well, and it's not joke rap, but it's also not always takes himself seriously, then you're nailing it for me personally. Yeah. And again, that's why Price and Doom and stuff for me were huge. So, you know, I draw a lot of inspiration from them. Yeah. So, and, you know, Doom's 50, I think, this year or something, man. Like, you know, and he's still dropping verses here and there. Like, he just came up with some crazy original shit. And, like, anyone that just sounds like themselves and doing their own thing, man, I'm always going to appreciate that, you know? So, but, like, I went back and did all the Ice Cubes and Ice-T's too, like, at the start of high school. So as I became a hip-hop head, obviously you go back and everyone's connected to everything and you start getting all the CDs and albums and you know what I mean? I like I said, man, I used to literally have to get my mum to go into the store and buy the shit for me because they're like, we can't sell you this. Remember back in the day they had the 18 plus stickers and shit like that, and literally some douchebag behind the counter at Sanity or HMV or whatever is like, I can't sell this to you. I'm like, you fucking serious, man? It's music. Like, you know.
Fucking chump.
That's it was fucking weird, man. But yeah, so I definitely, like, I know they're a bit more newer compared to the Ice Cubes and stuff, but maybe kind of also my age bracket too, perhaps. But yeah, but also at the same time though, there was, you know, then you stumbled on Illmatic when you were a young kid, Big Al, etc. So, you know, all the you know, the God tier MCs as well. So yeah,
for sure. I'm gonna ask you about 2017. So for people listening, before you were Fluent Form, right? So 2017. Yeah. So I just spoke to the bloke I interviewed last week who was in my crew, Bornsky. So he dropped Bornsky for Ben Iota. And I'm doing the same thing at the moment. I'm trying to kind of shed as an MC. I'm trying to shed beats, and I'm coming out with this new fucking stage name. You know, this new pseudonym. So what's the deal with you dropping the Fluent Form down to Flu? Is that just so it's harder for people to find you online?
Yeah, that too. Like, and then no, it was pretty much, again, just to show that change and that progression. It was like Fluent Form wasn't me anymore, man. Like I said, I went through a stage where, you know, I just snapped out of my dumb ways, you know, and then started doing I just did a whole revamp of myself as an artist and thought, well, a new name will go with the two. Plus, no one ever called me Fluent Form. It was like Flu or Fluey, you know. So it was just like everyone was saying, hey, Fluey. And I was just like, fuck it. It's short, sweet. Yeah, it sucks for Google or whatever. But if people really want to find it, they'll find it, you know. So, yeah, that was pretty much it, you know. So it went from Flu, a.k.a. Fluent Form, to slowly just Flu, you know. And then a lot of dudes in America think I'm Flu Dust. Yeah, so sometimes I'm like, hey, Flu Dust, what's up? And we talk on fucking WhatsApp or whatever, and I don't even correct. I'm like, yeah, cool, what's up? Who cares, you know? So
what's in
kind of Flu Dust now. I'm Flu Dust overseas now. So yeah, but yeah, it was just to usher in that new sound and that new approach, as you said. You know, it's like two completely different people.
So you've kind of answered the next question already, but just to tap on why. So it seems that you've taken a step back from rhyming to produce more. So is that intentional? And if so, or if not, why do you reckon you've stepped back from the mic to the boards?
It wasn't intentional at the start. It's not like I just went, you know what, fuck raps, I'm going to make beats for a while. But I did want to start making beats because I was surrounded by crazy beatsmiths, Discourse, Gecko, Musty, etc. Hanging around all them all the time. I was like, I want to try and make beats too. So that's basically what I did. And then as I was getting better at making beats, obviously I guess that was starting to take over a lot more of my time. So it was more just in that case. And then also one thing about beats over being a rapper with an Aussie accent is beats don't have accents. What that meant was that instead of hitting up American dudes or whatever for collabs and they hear the raps and they're like, you can rap but you sound weird with the accent, it's now just beats, pure unadulterated production. So there's nothing to hold you back unless you trash on the boards, so all of a sudden it was like, well, I can just put this stuff forward to MCs that I like in America. And it's like I said, beats don't have accents. So boom, all of a sudden this whole fucking world opened up to me, man. And it was like, yeah, this is my little niche now. This is what I'm going to do. And it's been crazy since, man.
Yeah.
Real crazy.
Yeah, it has. Well, that's a good segue straight on to the next question. That is just jumping straight into your production. So, I've always wanted to know with you and Gecko, what do you use? What hardware or software do you use?
Well, for me, I keep it real simple, man. Like looking at it now, I've got a computer, a keyboard, and a machine. The very first one they brought out, like it's old as hell. Which I bought secondhand off Discourse. You know what I mean? Because he had like a bunch of MCs and whatever. So I was like, hey man, can I buy this off you? And he's like, yeah, sure, cool. He wasn't really using it. And I've had it ever since, man. Still just sitting here, dusty as shit. Some of the pads don't even work. But that and a keyboard, man. Like I keep it super simple. A lot of people spend all this money on stuff. Yeah. I don't really need that, man. Like for me, I do it all by ear. Yeah. And I just slowly got better myself, and just by just constantly doing it. That whole 10,000 hours thing. Yeah. So I was just. Yeah, I just kept doing it, and it's been a few years now, and then it's paid off a little bit with some of the people that heard my shit and getting props from some big names overseas and being played on Primo and Muggs shows and stuff like that was pretty crazy, So we got played earlier this year on by Rosenberg on what is it? What's it called?
Shady 45, was it?
Yeah, there was that, and also the other one, Hot 97.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, the props, man. That's dope.
So played on that and shit. So it was kind of crazy hearing your name get shouted out on that.
Yeah.
But then all this fucking COVID shit happened, and I've been I wouldn't say lazy this year. I've actually dropped 2 vinyl releases, which I totally forget sometimes. It was at the start of the year,
Is that back
but
pain?
I've definitely.
No,
that was last year.
You did Eto and Riggs this year, was it?
Yeah, that was
last year too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so it's funny enough. Like I think I'm not being busy and productive for probably the bar I've set myself, but really I still have been. And I'm always tinkering away and stuff. But I've got like another album in the bag that's coming out this year or maybe early next year.
Ooh, yeah.
Hooking up with Tough Kong over in Europe was like a massive, huge step and a blessing for me, man, because they're fucking huge now in the sense of like where to go to for vinyl if you're overseas, The shipping here is a bitch. Like it's $100 for a vinyl or something here. So unfortunately, a lot of Aussie dudes will message me and be like, hey man, you got any? And if I haven't got many left, I sort of feel bad, because I can't get rid of my 2 copies or whatever, But yeah, that's a bit tough. But we got American distro over there and stuff too that purchase direct from Tough Kong. So it's been pretty good to just hand over a project to a label who press it for you and everything, man. It's you can't ask for much more than that. So I'm well aware of I'm very grateful. I'm well aware of being in that position. I don't take it for granted,
Yeah, I've got that down here as a question about Tough Kong. I think I'm one of those guys in your inbox fucking whinging about the Euro, mate.
Yeah, but it is completely understandable, man. It's fucking brutal.
Yeah,
it really is brutal, man. Like when I've had people send me the receipts, like, I copped your album that you produced, and I'm like, fuck, $96 with like shipping or something. I'm like, I almost feel like giving them like send PayPal them $50 just to say sorry. It's like, fuck, man, here, take this. I feel bad, you know.
Nah.
Because I only see my wholesale regardless. Unfortunately, you know what I mean. It's not like I'm getting that 96 fucking bucks.
Nah.
I'm getting my wholesale with that's stipulated in the contract, but it's just our dollar is like what 70 cents to US or something. So I think it almost halves when it goes to euro. So it is a bit rough. It's fucking rough, man.
It's crazy. Oh, so hearing that you use a machine, that surprises me because you don't sound very choppy. You know what I mean? It seems pretty flawless. So I always thought you were a software guy. But so are you predominantly sample based?
These days I'm like, you probably can't really tell, but I'm about 60-40. I like to play and layer a lot of things underneath samples.
Yeah.
I always gut the bass out and stuff and play my own low ends. I always like add sprinkles of synths here and there. Nothing that stands out like crazy. I mix it pretty low inside the mix, or I get Gecko to do it, you know, they'll mix it low inside. But I like to definitely fill out my samples. Put it this way, no beat I ever put out is just samples ever. There's always something I've done to it or played, at minimum the low end. And I've had other dudes use machine hit me up going, man, how do you make your beats not sound like they're made on machine? And like, I didn't really understand what they meant when they've asked me that. So maybe it must just be the way I sort of chop, or I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people think it's just MPC or something like that. But I just found like I was able to learn this pretty quick. Discourse showed me the basics when I bought it off him secondhand and set me on my way. I went home that day and plugged it in and just started fucking with the basics. And the beautiful thing this day and age, man, is YouTube tutorials. Or I was like watching all that shit years ago. I haven't bought any updates. I never bought the new ones. I just stuck because I'm too scared to buy the third, fifth one. It's all these lights and fucking whatever. It looks like a NASA computer. I just don't even. I'm looking at it going, I probably use 10% of the capacity of this old one. You know, it's purely for sampling and chopping, man. I don't use any of that shit, you know?
Yeah. I've lost you on the video.
Sorry, man. It's all right. I've got someone calling me. One sec. I'll just decline.
All good.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. This computer sitting behind me is about 15 years old, and it's got enough capacity to like fit in one of these podcasts, like which can be up to 2 and a bit hours. And then I've got to do all the work. Like I can't leave the computer and shut it down because it won't be there tomorrow. It can't save. So I've got to once I take this here, drag it all in, edit it, and then I've got to bounce it out. And then on the bounce, I don't know if you use Mac, but the little spinny wheel. It'll sit there and it'll spin for 25 minutes, and that whole time you're like, come on.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, it's gonna work.
Go, you good thing. but I'm too scared to get a new one because if I do, like I'm running crack software, and I don't want to go to that. Like I think Logic.
Yeah, it won't let you run.
I think Logic are up to 12 now, Logic 12, and I'm still happy with Logic 8, and I don't want to go past it, So then you get. I've had people Reflux and Adful and that you got to update, man. When it says update, press update. Like, what are you fucking doing? I remember Reflux was at my house once, and he's like, he goes, you got to update your computer, and he hit update, and then he's like, well, quick. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, no, your computer can't handle this. Like, it's gonna shit itself. Update. He's like,
quickly cancel it.
Yeah, when it comes up, press yes to update, and I'm like, advice I never took.
Yeah, man. Like I said, because I'm running older shit now too. Like, if I updated to the latest whatever Mac has now, it could fuck all my shit up. So I'm just like, hell no. Actually, funny enough, I still click remind me tomorrow every fucking day. It's like, remind me tomorrow. But I was gonna say, I'm just like, I don't know why. Like, it just freaks me out, man. Gives me anxiety. Like when any updates, shit like that, I just freak out. I don't know. I got this weird complex. Discourse has pissed himself many times where he's like seen me trying to operate software and shit or reboot a computer. Like, I'm not, believe it or not, I make beats, but I'm not savvy with computers, man. I didn't grow up I didn't have a computer until I was in my late 20s, man. So I didn't grow up with computers, man. So some people laugh their asses off when they see me trying to just do basic computer shit, So, but luckily the machine, I just got used to that. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I'm the same. I didn't have a computer until I said I wanted to start making music, and then I had this this thing that could hold 10 MP3s at once. So I couldn't even have a 5-minute wave file in there. It just wouldn't.
Yeah, it'd be too big.
Yeah. That's really interesting to know. Yeah, because I've never been able to really pick one of your samples. Like, you'll go through artists and you'll be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I'm happy to, like, I've got this record coming out at the moment and I've just got chop, bang, chop, loop, see you later, mate, off to press, wrapped over the top of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But it works, the samples work. It's worked for other fucking groups as well. It's been used. I just don't really care. But I'm working on some new shit lately. But I'm just finding I'm a lot lazier when it comes to, when you got family in that and your life, and I come down for a bit of a tinker making a beat for fun, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. I'll use that, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't have time to go digging and stuff like that. I'm still using I still use a packet of drums, like a big folder of drums that Mortar gave me from like 2005.
Yeah.
Just reverb the fuck out of them. Going to folders.
No, that's awesome though, man.
Going to folders called Beats Samples 2003, and I'm like, did I ever use this? Nah, fuck it. Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right, so knowing you were coming on, and after listening to it once, I listened to it like fucking 3 times in a row. I've got it on record too, but the film that goes with it. So I'm talking about Fuck This, I'm Buying a Gun. And if any of the listeners haven't heard it, get onto YouTube. But have you got any copies of vinyl left of that? That'd be sold out.
Oh, no, God, no.
Oh,
No,
man,
that'd be long gone, man.
Well,
yeah.
Get onto Discogs and pay $300 for it. For missing out. But Fuck This, I'm Buying a Gun is a concept record about an MC who, well, let's let you describe it. Like, what would you call that project?
A story that rhymes. I don't know.
So for people listening, it's a 30-minute song with skits describing and a fucking incredible, and shouts to Discourse, man. I don't know what goes on inside your fucking brain, boy, but the video is incredible, and the thinking about editing that gives me anxiety. But so can you explain where that came from? Explain what it is, what the story is. Is it about you?
Yeah.
Or is it about someone that created, and how did that go about? How did you fucking write that?
A lot of it came from like just conversations you have at gigs, man, in the crowd, and like the same things that people struggle with when you're on various levels. Like I could have been talking to an up and coming MC, and he's like, I can't wait to get to your position. I'm thinking, man, I'm not even at any kind of position really. But then I had to think back and go, well, maybe I am. And I used to look at people that were in my position when I was coming up as like, whoa, so that was sort of sparked a little bit of the idea of like, I'm going to tell a story about just a straight up MC in Australia, man, and the different things that can happen to some people. So look, is there a little bit of me in parts of it? Sure. But it's more an amalgamation of like lots of journeys doing hip hop in this country, and for that feeling of like failure and that crippling self-doubt, I just wanted to put that all into like a story. And so, I had parts about doing the drugs, and then parts about not being able to get a gig, or trying to, sending Facebook fucking friend requests to everyone, and then paying for a verse, but they don't even share it afterwards. They just wanted your cat.
Yeah, I like that.
Little things like that people could relate to.
You better share this.
So, like share. So I think in one bit I'm talking about like, he didn't even share the song, and I just thought it's just so fucking relatable and realistic on such a grassroots level.
Yeah.
And like I had the title "Fuck This, I'm Buying a Gun" in my head for ages, and it just formed into this story. And then Discourse, being the fucking crazy genius that he is, was like, after I told him the idea and everything, he's like, man, we can make that a mini movie. And I was like, fuck, okay, let's try it. So funny enough, I wrote the whole thing over a couple of days when I was completely fucked up and wasted. We don't have to get into that too much though. And for some reason, it just came pouring out while I was fucked up. And then I sat on it for ages, much to Gecko's chagrin at the time, because he made all the incredible production. And then I was umming and ahhing about releasing it for about a year or so, and then we finally did it. And I was stoked. Like, we had a couple of screenings down at Flinders Street Station of the movie. And and stuff like that. And it was like, we did 2 screenings, packed it out. You know, it was a small area, but still people came, and apparently got a standing ovation. I was in hospital, and unfortunately I couldn't even fucking make it myself.
Oh, really?
So I missed that. But apparently, got a standing ovation, all this shit on the screen. So, and just watching Henry work, man, was just fucking nuts. Like it was just insane. And also shout outs to a friend of mine, Carl Allison, who also helped shoot it.
Yeah.
And shout outs to everyone that did little cameos and got their little acting on. You know, it was a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. We should release the bloopers, man, because there's some fucking funny behind the scenes shit. Yeah, like absolute fucking hilarious moments, you know.
Yeah, I saw Frank in there, 1-6.
Yeah, Frankie's in there, 1-6, knocking my hat off. Like
Morns, that face Morns gives you, like, fuck off.
Yeah, it's like, fuck off. Yeah, he's trying to mack a chick, and like, I rock up with a CD, I buy my CD. Yeah. So it was a lot. It was a hell of a lot of fun, man. It was a crazy weekend, man.
Well, you did that in a weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. We shot it over 2 days, I think, 2 or 3 days. And then there was obviously a day of driving around and shooting other shots of me by myself, looking into venues, you know, can I get a gig? Right.
Yeah.
But it was the crux of it was over 2 days, I think. My memory's a bit phasey, man. It's like all that drinking and all the shit I'm doing in that was actually legit.
Yeah, right.
So I literally, like I said, I went to hospital shortly after that. So so it was fucking crazy. But
I shouldn't laugh.
That's method acting. No, I mean it's good to laugh, man. It's good to look back and laugh and shit. The only thing I'm spewing about is that I missed the screenings. You know, would have been nice to have been there and done a Q&A or something. But I was up in a hospital bed, getting my stomach cut open. But so it was a great experience, man. And I still, like, every once in a while will look, click the video when it comes up, or friends come over and like put that on, and I still sometimes sit back and go, fuck, Discourse really went in on that, or we all did,
Man, it's so nuts. Like, even when you're in Grumpy's and just the panning across the bar, and just the little things that he does, and the gun on the wall with the shadow. I was going to use that for your promo shot. Like, I did use the one with you sitting with the beer bottles to see where I put the emoji over your face, and and I was like, fucking Discourse. Like, he blows my mind, and I'm like, fucking Discourse, mate. I'm like, imagine having one of them in your team, eh? Like,
exactly, man, exactly. And like, I'm well aware, of the advantages I had. It's like it's that Discourse privilege.
Did you bring it out as a? It didn't come out in like a DVD or anything, did it? Like, to be purchased?
No, it did. Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah,
the vinyl has the DVD in it.
Well, then I must have it.
So it's a vinyl. Yeah, you got it. It's a vinyl DVD like pack. So even that again was like, just a lot of brainstorming. Like, I'd go over to Discourse's house, we'd sit there and like, what do we want to do? And then we'd throw out ideas, and I'd throw out some fucking terrible ones sometimes, and he'd be like, no, he'd rein it in and be like, no, we'll do this. But it was a great collaborative thing between the whole team, man. It was awesome to do, and just also, like, I've mentioned mental illness issues throughout my albums and music as well. So there was a lot of that I tapped into as well. I've got a bit of history of abusing myself as well with various things, which is just the stages I went through in life. So that went into it too. But I think it had a bit of everything for everyone, man. Really, anyone that does what we're doing right now could relate to at least one of the chapters or something.
Definitely. I listened to it again the other day, or yesterday at work. I work hard. But I was like, I know that feeling. It's that, and it's the self-doubt and like, you got that line about he doesn't want to spam, but he's got to, but he's got to do, like, you have to spam in order to do it, but you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm the same. Even with this podcast, I'm like, I've got to pump it out there. I've got to tell people to listen. Otherwise, you can't put posters up on fucking electricity poles anymore. That's not how it's done. There's no street presses around, so this is the way to do it. And I've got this record coming out at the moment, and I'm doing it now. I'm sending people the promo picture. I'm saying, can I fucking put the record in your stores? And luckily, it's not my first fucking rodeo, so they're like, yeah, sure, man. Like, and I'm like, I want cash. I don't want consignment. I'll do you a deal. Let's just do this. So, ironically, listening to that line about, how you sort of putting your head on the chopping block and to get that rejection. Because I remember when we were first doing shit, the rejection was like, well, who are you? And then we're like, oh, it's called a draw diffusive. What do those two fucking words mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you got a name or a package ready, it doesn't mean shit. You're still putting yourself out there, and then.
Oh, definitely, man. And I think like I said, it's been a while since I've listened to it properly, but yeah, I think there's a line there I talk about the only deals he gets are consignment ones or some shit.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, but yeah, I remember that. Like I said, man, I'm in such a good spot now with overseas distro and labels that I literally can just hand them a product. Like, it's such a luxury, man, that I never thought I'd have. It's like takes so much. It allows me to just make the music, man, So props to you for still going into your locals, man, with the product physically in your hand, man. I remember that hustle well. I remember it very well, man.
I also, part of it is wanting, like I hit up, so Frank, hit up Frank and Ad Rock down in Adelaide and another bloke in Adelaide and Chris from Northside. And they're like, yeah, man. No worries. And part of it is like, look, I don't want to make much money off you. I want people to go into the record store because I don't know if you've seen my fucking carry on when I missed them miles ago, fucking coloured 7-inch, mate. The way I behave online, I don't want to only have it online. I want people to go into a shop, and I want to encourage. I don't want record shops to die, man. Because I cherish going into a record store, I have fond memories. And I still go into record stores and dig. Fuck around, talk to the owner, and even if it's a few bucks here and there, you take the record for 15, sell it for 20, sell it for 25, whatever. Give your customers some discount. Just that whole keep it alive, keep it grimy. And I think you can do it with vinyl. Like CDs are fucking done, So that's why I went straight.
A lot
to
of
vinyl.
American dudes that I work with, they still do CDs. And I, we'll be chatting on Instagram chat or whatever. And I'm like, man, you guys still do CDs? And they're like, yeah, do them down in Australia. I'm like, hell no, man. Like, very rarely, But they must still sell enough to warrant doing it. I mean, they are cheap. You know what I mean? It is extra money in your pocket. If you move a few, like, you can pay that back pretty easy.
Yeah.
But still, I just couldn't be fucked having boxes of the things sitting in my garage, man, Like, whereas the vinyl just boom and sent out the door. So, but speaking of those 7 inches, though, man, keep an eye out for the next one. There might be a bit of a surprise on there, bro.
For what's that?
I won't say no.
What's that one? Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
The 7 inches you were talking about just before.
You
get upset when you miss them.
Don't fucking talk.
I'm just saying. There might be a surprise on the. I'll leave it at that because it's not my space, not my place to say. But yeah.
Shout outs to Lenny and Chubba. Shout outs to Lenny and Chubba. Yeah. I've been lucky, man. I keep. As it started, I was getting the coloured ones, I was getting the black ones, and I'm like, this is fucking beautiful. And then I started missing from the Brad Strutt onwards. I started missing out, and in the Reason podcast, Reason's like, bro, you stop fucking whinging when you miss the coloured ones, man. It gives me anxiety, man. Like 7:29, an alarm goes off in my phone. I sit there and refresh for 60 seconds, and then I'm like, my heart's pumping, man, and I'm like, boom, it's in my car. Let's go. Got shit preloaded. Let's go. Get to the checkout. It's gone. I'm like, for fuck's sake. But I've been lucky with people fixing me up, So as it stands, with this last Coolism one, I missed it, but I've created a network of people who hit me up straight away, and they're like, I've got one Beatsy if you want. So. Yeah, fucking gives me them and Lazy Grey drops, man. They give me anxiety. That's why, hence, I want my shit in the record store. I don't think I'm going to sell out as quick as them, but I want people to be able to go in their own time and go and buy a record from there. Maybe even play it. So but that Lazy Grey and the fucking Miles Ago ones that just sit there like,
yeah, man.
Anxiety. All right, so you just touched on it briefly. So, all right, wait. Going back to fuck this, I'm buying a gun. All those boxes of CDs, were they just blank cases?
Um, I'm trying to remember that demo that we made though. We made on the spot, with the guy on the cover and shit, trying to get all mean mugging and shit. I forgot what his name was. We called him something, but we made that one, and then the other boxes might have been leftover flu seasons, maybe. I'm not sure, because we originally I think Obese pressed 1,000, and then it did real well, so we pressed another 1,000, but we only needed another maybe 500. So I've got like 400 and something. Yeah, right. I think that we used from there. So it was like we had plenty of stock, man. Put it that way. That old stock laying around that we could use for props. Yeah. It was an awesome experience, man. Though, but it was like awkward as fuck too. Some of the scenes shooting it, man, because you're like, I'm not an actor, so you got to act out all these emotional fucking scenes and anger, and you scream, and you got your friends watching, having beers, laughing and shit behind the camera. You know what I mean? Like you're holding this gun to your head, you got to act like you're in fucking pain and shit, like really get into the character. So it was a good experience though, man, at the same time doing a bit of that. So
no, you did a good job, man.
I definitely enjoyed it, man. Yeah, a lot of people were like, man, fucking you did well, so it was cool, man. It was cool. It's just unfortunately it was almost like weird in a way that after it dropped, a bunch of shit went down, with on my side, and like, mental health issues. It was almost like crazy after doing that mini movie about this guy struggling with addiction and stuff like that. Some shit happened, to me. It was almost like really weird. The timing was literally within days of wrapping up the shooting,
It's, art imitating life.
Yeah, so that's why we, at the end of the video too, we're like, we put all the links and stuff for people that might be struggling, just to make sure
that's good.
that we weren't. Yeah, because last thing you want to do is like give people ideas or
trigger.
I guess trigger is the word. Yeah, that trigger them into getting that shit. And I was like, fuck. So I remember calling Discourse up, going, "Oh, man, can we add this at the end of the video?" Just because I came home that day, I was like, "Fuck, actually, we should do that." Just duty of care, really.
Yeah, for sure.
So just to make sure people didn't think we're glorifying that kind of shit.
Yeah, well, people don't want, Gecko don't want people calling him up to buy gats, man. That's sick too.
It's fucking like all the shots are so fucking well done, man. Like that full looks like a proper movie shot. Like the whole thing's great. Like you should definitely get Discourse on the show, man.
Yeah, I will. I've hit him up.
He's got like mad stories about the whole crew, a much more clearer recollection of the past than I do. Like, unfortunately, man, my recollection is fucking patchy at best, unfortunately. But
I've hit him up.
They're the prices you pay, man. But
Yeah, I did hit him up, but I know how busy he is. Like, I wouldn't mind diving into that, all the stuff he did with Starve and B, and when he went over to New York and did that stuff.
Oh man, it's crazy stories, man. You got to definitely talk to him about when he was out in the hood and shit, man. Like crazy stories. Like, it'd make for a great episode, that's for sure.
I'm surprised they didn't try and snatch him up and like keep him there as a bit of a as an asset, like that shit he did with AG, because it'd be quite easy to go, hey man, you want to stick around? You want to be this guy? Man,
he's an asset to anyone he works with, man.
Yeah,
100%.
Definitely.
For sure. Like he'll take whatever idea you got and he'll make it something pretty fucking crazy. We've clashed heads a little bit on some of the creative, but I just got to sometimes sit back and trust that he knows what he's doing, and sometimes he has to sit back and let me have my ideas too, and I think that's always worked well. And when you're close and work very close with each other, you're gonna bump heads from time to time, but it's in the end we're always get a product that we're fairly happy with. Like I don't think any true artist is ever 100% happy with anything, but to the point where you're like, I'll upload this on YouTube, why not, so
he was gonna do the cover for the songs that are coming out on this record I'm bringing out, but I want to wait and utilize him for a better project. Like he was a little bit out of my budget, but what he was going to offer me was fucking incredible, and we had this idea to do like a newspaper, the front page of a newspaper, and I'm like, can you make this, do that? And he's like, relax, mate. That's what scanners are for. We can do this. We can do that. We can do this. And it was just all through text, and just the confidence he had in taking on the project. And I was like, fuck, man. And then I sort of just said, oh, look, for this one, I'm just going to dumb it down. Went with someone else, and just, it's still a good cover what I've got, but I want to save Discourse for like something that's going to hit home, and like maybe a full length, and get him to just go ham on the artwork. I love that 3D shit. He's like, the Bigfoot man bag one that he just did. How
that was crazy.
He just creates something out of nothing, and even the rigs with the $100 bills like rolled up. I don't even want to ask him, like, how the fuck do you get all that money? Like, because like, he's not the type to like go on Shutterstock and fucking rip off an image.
No, he's definitely not. He well, it was good timing because he'd been to the States.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So he had some American currency on him. And
that much.
He look, between us and whoever listens to the episode, he used one bundle and then did different versions of that bundle to make them all different bundles, like real clever shit, man, to make it look. That's one of his favorite covers, funny enough. Just simple shit. Yeah. Simple but effective, Sometimes you can overdo it, but it's on vinyl. It looks fucking great, man. Like, even looking at it now, man, it's like just this awesome thing. Up in person, it's a fucking brilliant cover. Brilliant cover.
It seems to be like a bit of a trend at the moment. That realistic look, and pardon the pun, the realism, and realism is actually doing a lot of covers like that too. With the old VHS and that scan look. So I'm pretty keen to. I've got realism lined up to come on and have a chat too, and he's doing some good things. So
he's awesome, man. He's awesome at what he does too.
What I've got here is so your beats. We're talking about how they're mellow and slow, but they're very versatile. And a word I've got down here is that they sound very universal. And so most recently you have been fucking with a lot of overseas artists, Europe and the States. So how did that come apart, and how you teeing up these collabs?
Well, it started off like, at first I wanted to produce an album, like just my beats. So I did the Flew Dust album. And then not too long after that, really, a year later or so, I stumbled on, I can't remember how, but I stumbled onto Ito. And I saw a couple of his videos, and I was like, fuck, man, I really like the dude's style, man. I was like, this is some gritty shit, New York shit. I liked his stage, really liked his voice. He had that roll, as you would sort of explain it, roll over flow, like you were saying. So, and I thought, you know what, my beats are at a point now where I think I can make a splash with these dudes. And so me and Ito started talking. I started showing him stuff, and he was really receptive to the stuff I was showing him. And I was like, fuck, this is a good start. And then I knew, though, that he had dropped his first album, or one of his albums, with Tough Kong. So then I put a plan in the motion to, okay, what I'll do then is I might as well hit up Tough Kong too, since they're obviously a fan of him. Let's see if I can make him a fan of me as well with the beats. And, it was a blessing. They listened to it, loved it, and said, yeah, I'd like to have you on board. And that was my door in from basically there. Then, that he's from Rochester, so I started checking out other dudes from Rochester and stumbled on Riggs. And then I was like, oh, shit, this guy's dope too. And they're all homies. They all knew each other too. So then word of mouth just starts spreading. There's this Aussie dude called Flew Dust that makes beats, get at him. So all of a sudden I was getting hit up to do a lot of collabs and one-offs here and there and stuff. And I just started discovering this whole new wave of dudes coming up. And I was just really impressed. Like, I wouldn't have known about half these guys I work with if it wasn't for delving into, I guess, what you call the underground hip-hop scene in the States, They've sort of got their own sort of bubble there, as we did here, And as a couple of years have passed now, though, I have found, funny enough, that all hip-hop scenes are very similar regardless of the country. There's still a lot of fucking bitching and moaning sometimes, and people secretly hate other people, but they're all fucking passive aggressive and all this stuff. Like, so sometimes I laugh, like I'll get an inbox message from one artist going, oh, that dude's a clown, and then it's like the other artist like, that dude's a clown. I'm like, just I don't know, I'm like, and I'm thinking in my head, why are they telling me? But then like they must be like trying to tell me don't work with him or don't work with him.
Yeah.
But they don't even realize these two dudes are talking to the same guy, like, you know.
Fuck.
But it's funny, man. And there's always politics, and you know, dudes are always trying to be like, oh, no, man, like hook us a beat for free because it's like exposure here. But I don't have to worry about that. So I was like, well, man, I've got my sound there. People know who I am now over there in that bubble. So nah, man, I can't hook you up for free. You know, like I'm a friendly guy. I work with budgets. I always feel bad sometimes, like, but especially in this day and age, man, and especially in Victoria, I haven't worked for 2 months now. Yeah. You know, the last thing I can be doing is free beats. Like it's just be insane, man, to do that, you know. But you do start off though paying your dues, you know. You do start off paying your dues. Like I was like, yeah, we'll split everything 50-50 for Tough Kong. Yeah, we'll do this. But now I can sort of be a little bit more, I guess, business minded in the sense of like, well, man, you know, I do spend quite a lot of time on this and we both benefit. Let's not talk about this promo shit and whatever. Let's just do it. And it's good to I find it's good to talk to business, get it out of the way first. Because I've waded through, man, I could screenshot you so many messages in my inbox on Instagram, and it's like time wasters. As soon as you tell your price, or even if you're like, oh, look, I can probably do it for this much, they still like don't want to invest in themselves. One thing I find weird about artists is how they will say they're obsessed and passionate, non-stop talking about it and put all this effort into the music and then won't invest in putting it out later, like won't invest back into themselves at all. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's weird. Like, who did your film clip? Oh, homie mine. Oh, does he charge? Yeah. Oh, damn. Like, well, you know what I mean? What do you think that kind of quality's for free? Yeah. Like, and again, I'm lucky to have Discourse as a good mate. And okay, cool. You know, whatever. We've got our whatever we do to organize our deals, but you can't just expect certain quality for nothing, man. Like, it blows my mind sometimes. And you know. So I have learned that it's all scenes are very similar, just despite the whatever country, you know, same politics, man.
Well, you negotiate your worth, don't you? You know.
Yeah, exactly, man. You got to know your worth, man. And I think if you don't do that, you're automatically just lowering how someone else is going to perceive your product too. Like if you don't respect it enough to be like, this is what it's worth, no one else is. Yeah, totally. You know what I mean? So. You got to put something on there. And I'm still always happy just to break even, man. Like, like I make a little bit of profit, don't get me wrong, but breaking even is a blessing, man, in this day and age anyway, just for an independent dude. If you can break even and you've made some new fans or you've just got people who you respect bumping your shit, man, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. I mean, it's not like you're not working anyway. Yeah. So it's you know, it's a good thing. You're staying busy, you're still doing what you're passionate about, and you're not losing money. Not losing money, boom. I'm happy with that. That's fine. No problem.
Well, I just got this record. It's in transit at the moment, or being pressed, and if not in transit at the moment. And I was just happy to go, I'm not going to make money on it, you know. But I want it out there. There's a song on there about my sister passing away. I want it on there. You know, so
definitely, man.
I'm in a position to do it. I'm working. I'm doing all right cash wise. I'm fucking doing it. You know. And again, you know, just with a few mates stores that have hit me up, I'm like, well, I've made $1,000 back. You know that. If the rest can sit under my bed now. You know, so it was never a money making venture. So I think if you have that, like fuck this, I'm buying a gun. If you're like this is going to work, and I've seen people do it. I've seen younger rappers back in Adelaide do it. They're like, I've got to get signed to Obese. I've got to get this job. This has got to happen. It's got to happen, and it doesn't. And I've told you, look, don't do it for the money. Do it for yourself, and ride the wave. You know. And when it doesn't work for them, they're like fucking devastated. And I put money in this and that into it, and I'm like, you know, that's Australian music. You know, well, I guess the Australian hip hop scene. A few people always ask me when they find out I do music. They're like, "Oh, do you do it right out of it?" I'm like, "Nah." I said, "I know about five groups that do, you know, five certain, you know, people that, and we all know who they are, who make money in Australian music, and they kicked open a fuckload of doors for us, but I don't think anyone else is going to make that type of cheddar again, you know, like Hood's cheddar, draft cheddar, you know."
Yeah. I mean, and also though, the thing is, like with these up and comers feeling rejected though, they should be reminded though that now it's a little bit different. You don't really need that distro. It's like with the internet and how the landscape is now, it's leveled it. it's a level playing field for everybody now, because you can just promote and say shit directly off your own Bandcamp page, or what is it, Big Cartel or whatever, direct to the fans, save them money. You can have a more open relationship with all your fans now. You can talk to them. You can be super active. Like, I suck at all that social media shit, man. Like, I almost avoid it. Like, I try not to get on it every day at all, because I like to see the world. But yeah, it's an important tool, and so they can utilize all that now, man. I've seen how it's done. Like, I could very easily try and do the same things if I cared that much about that side of it. Yeah. So these kids saying I need to sign this, or I need to sign to Golden Era or whatever. Not really, man. You can blow the fuck up off a fucking video now that you upload on Facebook. Like a lot of artists have. They've got cult followings just by touching a market that they tapped into. Yeah. And boom, man, if you get the youth behind you, man, the rest will come.
Greeley's a good example of that.
Yeah, and but he also, I know him well, man. I was actually just chatting to him yesterday on the Messenger, and we stay in touch quite frequently, and he puts in that work, but he also just shares the love though too. So everyone's always going to share back with him. Yeah. He does it the right way. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you can tell it's genuine and stuff. He doesn't come across like it's all bullshit and he's trying to get something out of it. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's having a rough fucking trot. He was meant
to... Yeah, I know. I was talking the other day, man. It's fucking horrible.
The week I took off and had no episode I had him booked in, and he's like, oh, look, I don't have the time, mate. I'm fucking got to just fill in this form and get back to Tassie. And I'm like, oh, don't sweat it, mate. Don't sweat it. It's all good. And then he fucking went back in to the hospital, and I'm like, mate, you've just come out the boob, then you're in the stuck into state, and he's stuck in hospital,
ankle or something.
He's having a rough trot, so fuck.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rough trot, man. But hopefully everything's all looks up for him, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he is. Fucking hell, mate. Shout outs to Grills, fucking funny bugger. So go on. That's my next question about Tough Kong. So, what's the deal there? They're a label, or are they distro? Yeah. And are you signed to them? And so we know how you just spoke on how it eventuated. You just hit them up, but where are they based? Because to me, I thought they were Italian. Like,
they're based in Italy.
Oh, they
are. Yeah, so European label. They're pretty much one of the main ones now for your source of sort of independent hip hop vinyl releases. They've worked with almost everyone now. A lot of big names, smaller names, and everyone in between. My deal is it's different every album. Depending on the album, it might be a distro deal, or it might be a guaranteed deal where they give you a guarantee, sign a contract, etc. So I've had a few of both. So it's not like you're signed to them. They don't sign artists officially like that. They take it by release basis, So, they might have an Alchemist produced project, and then the next day you'll see some fucking flew with some full random guy from fucking California called Back Pain. They just basically. What I've found with the 4 records I've put out with them is they sit on it for a while, they listen to it, we have a chat about our rollouts, they ask me what else I've got, coming to promote it. We sit together and discuss it. One of the guys that runs it came to Melbourne last year, and we met up and had a drink and everything, and really got to know each other well. Plus, we all chat on WhatsApp and shit. So it's cool, man. It's I know him well. I chat to him a lot, so I'm pretty lucky in that regard too. That I was able to sort of get in as they were really starting to bubble, and then now they're fucking. I remember one day they went from 2,000 followers to 15,000, in a short amount of time. So they're doing it the right way. They respect the art form, so they're one of the better ones out there. So. Yeah, based in Italy, but they also then have distro for American stores and American sub-labels. It's all that, tree branches. Yeah. So it's pretty great in that regards too, man, for moving those extra few units.
And do you reckon, though, do you know if they have any intention to do something like that over here? They could maybe talk, for example, talk to Frank or something like that and send a box over here for your fans over here to cop them? Is that what you're saying they do in America? They have a distro in America. You think they'd be...
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head the name of... It's another label that then take it off them. So who is it? They did the Czarface albums and stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah, I reckon I might have it.
Whatever label that was, they also pick up some of our stuff directly from Tough Kong too. Yeah. As for Australia, it has been floated before. Domenico, one of the guys that runs it, has spoken to me about it. And we have spoken to Frank as well. But then again, all this COVID shit went down. So we haven't had a chance to really retouch on that again. But I was happy to try and help make that happen too. Because I said earlier, the price conversion and stuff like that is fucking insane. So hopefully in the future we can do something like that. And then it'll be cool because, Discourse did his Starve and Be one via them too, eventually as well. I think Musty's done something with them now. Yeah. Don't quote me on that, but I think they might have. So it's kind of cool now. They're looking at a few Aussies releases too now, which is cool to see. So it's all one big happy fucking global family, I guess now. So, but they definitely pride themselves on the quality shit though. I rarely see them put out like any sort of trash shit. So they definitely sit, listen, and know what they want to do. But there's a lot of great other labels out there too doing similar things, So I've just happened to mostly work with one.
Yeah. It's good looking releases too, like Motion Picture with the splatter, the 10-inch splatter. That's good.
The Riggs green one was pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, I got that. That's killer. And anyone who knows, fuck knows why, but you got to pay more for color. I think it's the cleaning of the machines, but it costs more to press color vinyl. It's still the same fucking pellets.
Yes. Is that what it is? Is it?
Yeah,
I thought it was just because you're getting something nice and pretty or whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
It's the cleaning of the machines, I've been assured.
Right. I thought it was just the whole it's color,
Yeah.
So you pay an extra £10 or whatever. But
I saw a record the other week. There's a crew down in Melbourne. They pressed it through Zenith. I was talking to Mark 563 about it. They're called Salty Dog Records. They're like a punk rock band, and they pressed this fucking record, and it's got bags of rack in it. It's not a picture disc. It's and I don't know if it's rack or not. I don't know how the fuck they did it. I'll tag you in it. I'll tag you in the photo. It's fucking hilarious, man. It's on the bag, and it's this record with bags of racks that just looks like a glass table with bags of coke on it. But yeah, I've been looking into a few things. Because this one I had to press overseas because Zenith shut down, and there was no option for what I wanted to do. There was no grey because the Adroit were black and white. I wanted to do grey. There was no grey vinyl in the world. I couldn't. Everywhere I looked, they were like, "Nah, don't have any. Not gonna have any through COVID." So I'm like, "Fuck," So I did a black and red marble, but on Instagram I follow the hashtag coloured vinyl. Fuck, man, people are doing some shit, they're really pushing the envelope with what they're coming out with now. So I'm pretty keen for the next project I do I just want to just do vinyl only now, and if you...
Yeah.
I can't get my head around this. I've got my old shit up on Spotify and all that, but this new one, I just said the concepts because he's on one of the tracks and he's all over it. I said, you can just have the track and put it on there if you want. I don't know how to tag the other features in it to sort of get that play. So I just put it on vinyl and then, I can see how it goes.
I think vinyl and digital is kind of the best way to do it, man. It's all you need now.
Yeah. Because
people still want that luxury of just turning on their phone and playing it in the car as well as having then the physical. Yeah. And it's good because I know a lot of people rag on the money you get per stream and stuff, but once you start putting a lot of songs on there, it's not that bad, man. Because I've got so much stuff overseas on there now, I get paid in American currency.
Nice.
from DistroKid, and I'm part of what they call teams. I don't know if you use DistroKid. So you're splitting 50% with all these albums you're doing. They've got 10 times the amount of listeners than we do, even if they're underground, just purely on the demographic and how many numbers they have in their population compared to us. So if you constantly keep having more links for people to stream, that's a stream each fucking time. Put your intros on there too. Put everything on there, man. Just click it. The more you keep getting it, I check it every couple of months. I'm like, oh fuck, nice, and withdraw it. It's free money, because it's not money you think about. And I guess it's easy for me to say this because I'm working with dudes overseas in a much bigger populated country, so the streams are going to be a lot more. But it's not. Look, yeah. Do we deserve more as artists? Yeah, but it's not the end of the world. Those streams at the same time, man. If you know how to utilize it and add more stuff on there, you know,
that's in a whole nother world. Like, you know, because I said to Concepts, I said, well, we'll just put it up on Spotify, and he's like, well, we've got Raskas on the track. You need to capitalize on having him on there, and I'm like.
Yeah.
Well, just putting his name on there is doing that, isn't it? People like him. People want to listen to him. People want to listen to us. And he was explaining it to me like, nah, he sort of, people ride that Rascas wave. His fans are listening to it. You know, then that becomes a stream for us. So I'm like, you can do that side of it, mate. I've done the vinyl.
Yeah.
you can do that. Yeah. So do you have...
no, that's cool, man. It's a good feature.
Yeah. So I got him and then on another track, I really fuck with Rusty Jukes' shit. So I'm doing something with him, and they're both really like. Well, the Rusty Jukes one's really personal, and he was real good about it because I said I don't want a throwaway verse. I don't want some random fucking shit. I said I sent him like the Word doc of what mine was about, and he came back, and so we're on the same. On the same page what it's about, and it's I don't want to say too much because it's coming out soon. Cunts can fucking pay for it. I gotta recoup my money. But,
that's it.
So is there any like barriers with the distance and the language? Like do they speak English well?
Yeah, well, I mean they're all in the USA. So,
are they?
You know, there's no. I haven't worked. I got hit up by this dude from. I can't remember what country it was, and his English was real bad. But he sent me links to his YouTube videos, and whatever country he's from, he's huge over there, and he's like millions of views on his videos.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, "Fuck, this guy's huge." So I'm gonna get back to him. Actually, I haven't got back to him in about a week, but that'll be the first time. The rest is it's all been US, New York and LA mostly. Yeah, so right. The only thing is some of the slang that we have, they don't say it, you know, and vice versa. Like
just give me thongs.
Like they don't. We say heaps.
Yeah.
For a lot, like instead of a lot, we say heaps. Oh, I got heaps of beats. Yeah. So there's been heaps of times where I'm like, oh man, I got heaps of beats, or we can do heaps of that, and they're like, heaps. And then Discourse had the same thing happen to him when he was in America with the same word, heaps. Also,
it's good rap.
What else do we say that's like, I don't know, there's a bunch of words we add into our sentences and they're like, what do you mean by that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but mostly it's been all good. But sometimes, you know, if I chat to some of them on WhatsApp on the actual audio chat and I've had a few drinks or whatever, sometimes, you know, because we're so like laid back and don't take everything so super fucking serious, where a lot of dudes do. Like, so sometimes it's like it's like, oh, don't worry about all that fucking shit, man. Don't take shit so fucking seriously all the time. But you know what I mean? It's just different cultures and shit sometimes. But generally, it's a lot of laughs, man, and a lot of like questions about what is here and shit, you know. Yeah, it's just some of our slang and some of the words we say. They just don't say it. They just don't say it, you know. So yeah,
culture, hey, culture. So are you doing all right off of it?
Oh, look, man, like
you're still working your day job?
I guess yes. Like I said, I don't ever lose money.
Yeah.
So I haven't lost any money on any of the releases.
So you got to put money. You got to put money into it to get, or they just take. Well, I'm lucky. Project?
Yeah, they press it and everything, man. So I'm lucky, but obviously, you know, I'll still pay people to do artwork and film clips and stuff like that. And if it's homies of mine, we work out a deal, you know. Again, very lucky, man. I'm very, very lucky. So I must have done something right to, you know, have real good mates, man, that are willing to help and vice versa. But not that I can't offer shit, really. But, yeah, so, yeah, but, yeah, look, I always make the money back, put it that way. I'm trying to think if I've lost money on one so far since I started doing overseas production. I don't think so, no. Because we also do tapes and shit, you know, just it's all little extra bits of income, you know. Yeah. Sometimes it takes longer to make back. I found 7 inches during a pandemic weren't the best idea. But again, haven't lost money. It's broken even. I just haven't made any yet off that latest one.
Yeah.
But we dropped it the worst time. It was like April or something, and all this COVID stuff was really starting to pop off. Like, as in people were starting to really panic. And they're based in Italy. Italy got fucking smashed with that shit. Remember? They were like second behind China at one point. So it was really bad timing. Like me and the MC that did it were like, fuck. Like, we shouldn't have dropped this yet. Like, you know. So besides that, that's a bit of a spanner in the works. But again, man, I'm lucky, man. Blessed, I guess. Hashtag blessed. That's fucking, yeah. I haven't had any of those issues yet, which is good, man. Knock wood. I've got kids to feed, you know. So
yeah. So you still work? You got a day job?
I do. I hope I do. I got dismissed. I got dismissed 2 months ago, and they're like, "We'll let you know when you're allowed to come back." And now we're about to hit 2 months, man, and it's like, fuck, like, what's going on? So it's a bit stressful and shit when you've got 5 mouths to feed. Like, I don't have a small family, you know, and kids, man, they eat you out of house and home, man. I've got an 11-year-old now, and like they eat so much, like. How the fuck do you eat so much? You know what I mean? Like, what? It's like that, you know, in Friday, like where
always in the damn kitchen.
Why every time I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen? Like, it's literally like that. You know what I mean? It's like every time I go in the kitchen, at least one of my kids is in the fucking kitchen asking for food.
So you got 5 kids?
You know? No, 3 kids, but then me and the missus, so 5 mouths to feed. You know? Yeah. 5 kids, fucking no.
Yeah, I got my 7-year-old. He's a fucking monster, man. He can put the food away like his old man.
They really can, man. It's like, where the fuck do you? Because apparently your stomach's the size of your fist.
Yeah.
So like, I'll grab their fist, going, "This is how big your fucking stomach is, man. What are you doing with this food?" You know.
Size of a
but the joys of parenthood, man. You know. So yeah, hopefully I'm back soon, man. It was meant to go back like 4 weeks ago. Then it was meant to be 2 weeks ago, and our premier keeps going nut, like extending it longer and longer. So it's a bit insane, man. It's like we said at the start of this podcast. What a fucking year! Like, what a year! It started off with all the bushfires and shit.
Yeah, it's been fucked.
You know,
someone's gonna.
Then as soon as that died down, we went to this.
Someone's gonna knock.
What's that? Sorry.
Someone's gonna knock that cunt. That premier of yours, eh?
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised. People are on edge, man. Yeah.
It's almost like he's bullying now. He's being a bit of a brat, saying if you don't, you know, look, if the virus is...
He words it badly.
Yeah.
He words it badly. He comes across like a fucking... Look, is he trying to help? I think he is. I don't think he is this evil dictator that people are saying. Like, but I think he comes across like an arrogant prick, as I guess most politicians do. But the way he words it, like, you're like, "Oh, you idiot. Like, don't word it like that." Like you said, someone's going to knock you, man. Like, you can't try and, like, explain it a bit better. Like, he says it with this full, terrible fucking tone, like, in his voice. Like, who knows, man? He probably hasn't slept in months. Like, he shows up every day. But
stressful job.
I don't know. It's hard, man. I don't know politics that much, but, like, at the same time, like, I believe him that he does give a fuck. It's just might have gone a bit overboard with this shit. People are fucking losing their jobs. Like you said, fucking suicide rates are going up. And that was one of the first things I started thinking about was like, fuck, mental health issues are going to go fucking crazy. So that's a big worry there, you know?
I think what I do see out of that is after all this is all the new doors that are going to open. And I think the mental health sector is going to be a fucking massive door that opens. So if you've got something that you can contribute to that sector, then, you know, there's a space there now. There's a huge space. But going back to your premier, I just don't think he knows how to sandwich a fucking comment. You know, you need a slice of bread either side of the shit, mate. You know, he's got to. Yeah. He just goes bang. This is it, and it's like, hang on,
straight into the shit.
How about you guys are doing
start off
well?
Positive?
Yeah, sandwich it, man.
Classic. Start off positive, do the shit and positive.
Yeah.
He doesn't even not even basics 101 management.
Straight
skills.
in raw, no rubber, no lube, eh?
Yeah. Fucking no Vaseline. Straight up Victoria's ass, man. But yeah, look, apparently it's like another week now or 2 weeks or some shit. The 28th or something, I got an email or some shit. So you've actually inspired me to sort of get back into making beats a bit more though during the day, because I've just been going crazy on the fitness tip lately. So I've kind of keen to get back into it, actually, man. Release some of these things I'm sitting on. So
Well,
good.
when we start recording, I'll you can tell me your price.
Yeah.
I hit you up. I was also one of them guys that hit you up because remember I was going to do that intro thing, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this instrumental album. Like, you got any beats? You're like, yeah, but I charge now.
No, sorry if I did come across rude. That was back to, I don't know if you remember earlier, I'd like to get the business part out of the way first.
Yeah.
Just so there's no awkwardness later on, because I learned very quickly I'd get hours of conversation in with some, rapper from Detroit, for example, or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're charging for this? I thought we were just going to blah, 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 split the stream. I'm like, nah, man, like I can't do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? We can split the stream later, but for now I need some kind of payment,
Money up front,
and it purely is for family feeding purposes. It's not like I'm taking that money. It's like, yeah, balling at all. Opposite. It's like I'm straight to fucking Coles, man. I'm buying dinners and shit.
As I'm older now, like, when you're young, you got fucking 50 mates around you all doing it. Beats are getting thrown around versus you're at each other's house, you're doing shit. But now as I'm older, I'm a bit more isolated. I've moved into state. And it's like, and it used to almost be sort of frowned upon to pay for a verse, and now I'm like, I'm all about it. I'm like, if I want a flute beat, that's what I want, and I want a mortar beat, and I'm buying it, and I want a checkmate beat, and I'm buying it, and I want fucking Cool Keith on my next record, man. Like, wait, I actually hit him up and said, what do you charge? And again, I'm not fucking paying that much, but I've got this one. I've got this beat, and every time I made this beat, and every time I play it, all I can hear is Cool Keith's fucking voice going over it. Like,
okay, on it.
And I've got some, like, a little bit of, like, a story for when he was in Adelaide. There's a bit of a story I could tell him about and go, look, we could rhyme about this and we could really fuck this story up, man. But he hit me up with a ridiculous price, and I'm like, yeah. And then that's US dollars. So.
Oh, yeah. See, that's another thing, yeah.
So you got to.
That's one thing, though. I was charging in Australian dollars, and I didn't realize. I was like, you idiot. Like, I can charge in US. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Then like I said, everything's a learning curve. So for a couple of months, I was like, oh, yeah, fuck, idiot. US dollars, man. US dollars. So it's a nice little added bonus, but it's all part of, learning. And, I did it all on my own, man. Like, I didn't speak to anyone really about it. I just started doing this production thing and whatever, and every once in a while, like, some of my friends would be like, oh, fuck, I see you making moves and stuff. Like, I didn't really talk about it much to many people. Maybe one or two mates knew what my plan was about breaking into this US bubble. And then, it sort of happens pretty quickly, really, as well. So that was awesome. But, I've had a bit more of a break, man, just mentally. Like, I got to walk away from it every once in a while and just take a break from music, Yeah,
fair call.
I won't even listen to hip-hop music sometimes for like a month just to I don't know, restart, refresh.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I don't know if you get like that.
Yeah, I do. I just listen to podcasts now, and then like this has been an idea for about a year, and then it's a rabbit's hole. You start finding things. I do Muay Thai, so I sort of started listening to a few fighting ones, and people give you references. Oh, why don't you listen to this? You listen to that, but I don't know, man. I'm getting old. I listen to more podcasts than I do music, and I used to fucking
man. Music, I well, when I was still working, I was listening to podcasts too, man, to and from work, and I was never a podcasty guy. And then all of a sudden, like you said, Muay Thai, I'm a big boxing fan, so I listen to a lot of boxing podcasts. And man, I just would get completely like locked into that world. I'd even try and like have a few sneaky quiet listens while I'm at my desk at work, like. And they're great, man. Like, if you find good ones, they're great. I'm a huge Sopranos fan, so they brought out a Talking Sopranos podcast. I've been fucking watching that every week too.
Is it good?
So it's just awesome having these podcasts. I'm a massive Sopranos tragic, man. So to me, it's good. I don't know if it's good, like in comparison to some of the better ones, but just seeing some of the characters interviewed and shit, it's a fucking thrill for me. So that and boxing, it's like all of a sudden you've got these other things you really love and you're into. That have podcasts dedicated to them. Like, it's a fucking awesome thing, and as obviously hip-hop ones too,
Sorry, we got a bit of a delay going. I've just seen that Sopranos one, and I've just lined it up for the next one to play. But it's people are jumping on anything. Like that TV show, Bluey, that like my granddaughter and my son still watches Bluey. There's a fucking podcast where they dissect the fucking they dissect the fucking episodes, man. So it's like
the episode of Bluey episode dissection,
and the Peaky Blinders one. There's a Peaky Blinders one where they dissect the episodes. So I'm like, I've got that lined up too, but it's finding time, you know. And I just get locked in. I'm like, I'm going to work early this morning, love. She's like, you don't start for 2 hours. I'm like, hey. Listen to the pod.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of that, we've almost had you for 2 hours, so I'll move on. Just a few more things, and then we'll go into a couple like little signature questions that I've got that wrap up the interview. But I want to talk to you because you played in the Hunter Cup. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The very first one.
The first one. So I was having a chat with Gutsy about that. So. What did that mean to you? Were you close to Hunter, or you were just a bit of a ringing from the Melbourne team, or?
No, the thing with me and Hunt, it was like a bit of chatting online only. So he came a little bit before me, so I never really got to run into him at shows or anything like that. But he hit me up to be a part of that Canteen compilation.
Yeah.
So what happened was me, Bigfoot, Taunts, and I think maybe Jake Beers. I'm not sure. I know it was definitely Bigfoot, me, and Taunts did a song for it, and he actually hit us back on because of the project and where it was going to be sort of marketed to and stuff like that. It was actually like he was like, "Love the song, a bit too gully," so we had to scrap that one. But from there, we kept talking and stuff. And one of the last things he ever messaged me was, "Quit smoking, man. Nothing sucks more than waiting around to die." And it really fucking hit me hard. I was like, God damn, that was a hardcore message to read from him. So, I was like, damn. Yeah, we weren't super close, but I definitely wanted to be a part of that to honor him when the idea of the game came around, and I just thought it was a great cause, a great way to remember someone who gave so much to, our scene, our community of people. And yeah, I wanted to be a part of it. You know what I mean? And I was not a footy player by any stretch of the imagination, man, but it still was something that, was a great way to honor him. And the amount of people that got involved was just awesome to see. Yeah. And it just brought us all together for a good afternoon and for a good cause and for a great way to remember someone, It
was pretty special. Yeah. And by the time this airs, it'll be his anniversary actually on the 20th. So... Yeah,
right. Yeah,
gone but not forgotten. Rest in peace, Hunter. That was a fucking massive loss. Yeah, Jesus, what do you say? He towards the end, he scrapped our song off the Canteen one too because he said no swearing. So
that's right. It was too much gulliness and swearing or something like that. Yeah, I mean, you've got Bigfoot and Taunts on there as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't think it was ever going to get past. But I think that's what he said it too. But it was. We had a bit of a laugh about it in the messages, about it. So
we had a disaster beat for a droid, and I said, all right, let's fucking go, man. And I come up with this concept. Because there's 7 MCs, I said we'll do the 7 deadly sins. So we were each one of us was one of the sins, and it's fucking killer, man. But then and it almost got released this year on the Paddy album over a different beat because Disaster didn't have the stems and all that. So but it just didn't eventuate. And then Adroit's pretty well fizzled now. But it was so fucking dope. And then Motion's like, I can't be fuck living, but I can't be fuck quitting. And like, he's like, I fucking told you no fucking swearing. This is for the kids. And I'm like, sorry, Rob. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, bless you, mate. He's a legend. Yeah. Towards the end, he would ring me up, like quoting this Red Wine album that I put out. He would like, it was real dark and fucking, dank, fucking horrible angry man music, and he would ring up quoting it. And I remember, even though I was mates with him, I remember going, Hunter's listening to my music. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We grow up listening to him, and then he's listened to us. All right, mate, I've almost had you for 2 hours. I want to wrap it up with a couple things that I ask everyone that comes on, especially if it's music related. So don't think too much about it. You started at the beginning of the podcast. So top 5 dead or alive, MCs, and then producers.
All right, MCs. Sean Price, Doom, Rock Marciano, Carr, and Breezy Bruin. That's just, that's interchangeable.
Yeah.
But that's just off the top of my head. Producers, early RZA, Alchemist, Primo, Phil Gector.
Yeah.
And that's legit too. Like, I literally would rate him up there just with his skill set. And probably even Musty, man, to be honest. Like, a couple of locals in my top 5 for my personal preference, just at how good they are at what they do.
Yeah.
Alchemist still blows my mind at how hard he's still going right now, man.
Yeah. Alchemist,
still doing it.
Alchemist is
still smashing it.
Alchemist is in mine. Gecko's in mine. Apollo Brown. But I'm gonna answer eventually on one of the episodes. Heaps of people have been hitting me up with questions in the inbox, so I'm gonna interview myself and answer all these questions. So I got a spare episode lying around.
But the top 5 rappers, that's like that changes on the daily. But Sean Price and Doom are definitely always in there.
Yeah, Doom's good. And the way Doom rebranded himself was pretty amazing. You know, from
it was crazy, man.
Sevlevex and stuff like that. All right, so another one is, I've sort of stripped this down. It started from the first early episodes. It started out as sending yourself a letter. But what I've got it down to is if you could write a fortune cookie and send it back to yourself at whatever age you think would be most relevant, early teens or, 18, 17, 16, what would that fortune cookie say? What advice would you give yourself on that fortune cookie?
Focus on your mental health. Stay away from drugs.
That's what my answer will be, I reckon.
Yeah.
Classic. I'm just writing that down. Focus on mental health and stay away from drugs. That's good advice, kids. Very, very good advice. All right, so what's next for Flu? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, look, I've nothing I can really plug. I just keep an eye out for more projects that I've got dropping, probably with American MCs that no one in Australia has heard of, but they've got their followings overseas. So, nice. And then they're going to probably get back to working with some bigger names again too, early next year. And basically, I'll be getting back into. I'm doing some raps, doing some feature verses for people again, and I might even go back to doing another album where I rap, man. I get the itch from time to time. As long as I jot it down, it's all good. So, one thing too before we wrap this up, did I ever tell you I saw your fucking stickers in Thailand, man?
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to Thailand a few years, but
which ones? The Adroit Man or my face?
Yeah, with the Adroit Man, yeah. And
I went fucking
around
nuts over there with them.
Yeah, I was walking around Thailand. I just saw your fucking stickers, and I said to my missus, "I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I know that guy." And, like, you know what I mean? Like, and like we went to some other spot too, which was not even the nice area where. And I still saw another one on a pole. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "This guy's full guy getting his slaps on big time, man." I just thought that was I wanted to make sure I brought that up before we wrap this up, man, because it was a trip just seeing like an Aussie hip hop thing over there. You know, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like,
yeah. Reason said he saw some too. I'm sort of like I don't know what the word is, connected. I speak to this Indonesian sticker slap up thing, and that's their life over there. So I sort of sent them a few stickers, and I just got a heap of.
Oh right,
yeah.
Okay.
I just got a heap of dudes like Burn Crew, and like I hit everyone up like, send me stickers. I'm sending it over at my own cost. You know, I'll send the postage over there, and they have galleries, so they'll slap them all up, put them in frames, and they have galleries, and that's how they make their money. And so,
okay,
and then because in Thailand they can do it, or in Indonesia, they're in Jakarta, I think, or something like that. So they can do it so cheap. I'm like, here, have my fucking design, my logo, and do what you want with it. So they mix and mash it and mix it up with theirs, and so it's kind of cool, like that fucking. That's the one with me, the little cartoon character of myself. So that's getting a. Have you seen that one?
Okay. Yeah. I've seen that one. Yeah. I saw the OG one.
Yeah, the Adroit Man.
Was that you putting that one up?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
cool, yeah.
Doing my little fucking Thailand debauchery.
Yeah.
Nah, I go over there for Muay Thai, not debauchery.
It was a fucking trip, man. It was just a trip because it was the first time I'd ever been overseas, man.
Yeah, right. What year was that then?
I was like, it was 2015.
Yeah. I got married over there.
Maybe 16.
Yeah.
Well, I was there. I was there with my missus, and it was just a trip because I'd never been overseas. And then, literally, about half an hour into us walking around after we'd checked in and everything, I just see that fucking sticker. I was like, "What the fuck? Crazy!" Like, you know what I mean? And then,
where were you? Phuket?
Yeah, it was just a trip.
Phuket or Koh Samui?
No, it was Phuket. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was been a more quieter sort of off section that you must have been walking around at one point.
I got arrested over there and thrown in a cell and everything.
Oh, did you?
It's fucking not a good place to get locked up in, man. And that was just a few hours. Like fuck, I'll tell you off air what they did to me.
Just being a drunk kind of whatever.
Mate. Yeah, they were fucking nasty people, man. I just had to pay my way out of it. That was there was no like come to court in the morning. It was like just rinse me for everything. But I don't know if it's a podcast story. But all right. So is there anything you want to ask me?
No, not really. No, man. Just wanted to thank you. Just wanted to thank you for your time, man. Like for reaching out to me and stuff, man. And actually, where's you said you went overseas for the pressing. Who'd you end up going with? Because you said Zenith was no go.
Yeah, so Lazy put me on to Mobaneko. I don't know if I'm saying it properly. Mobaneko or Mobaneko. It's been pretty flawless there. You know, there was one thing, they had the A and B center labels mixed up, so I was just said, you've got that around the wrong way. And the test pressings arrived pretty quick. They came from Taiwan, like fucking 7 days. Since they said they're on their way, and they arrived in 7 days. So, to my knowledge, it's being pressed this week, and then it should be here. And I was fucking stressing out because all the artwork says copyright 2020. And I'm like, if it doesn't get here till 2021, I'm gonna be fucking filthy. You know? It's just a little bit of a personal release, man. It's got a couple older songs on it. It's got a 15-year-old song on there, man, about my sister and my mate.
Oh shit!
Yeah, my sister passed away, and my mate's brother passed away. And we did this song back in 2004. We first recorded it, and then there's a line in there that goes, "It's been 2 years now," and then we'd re-record it and go, "It's been 3 years now," and then we left it at it's been 5. It's been 5 years now, and we left it. We said, "Do you want to re-record this?" And then we lost the stems and fucking. I'm like, nah, and I had to bleep out a section that, you know, because the way she passed, you know, there's something I couldn't say, so I just sort of beeped it out. And yeah, hopefully it's received well. It's certainly not radio or club hip hop. It's definitely a personal release, but it's coming. Oddly enough, I called it, and I just watching your movie the other day. I called it "Do Not Resuscitate," only for the fact that in every song there's death, and I just fucking love that term "Do Not Resuscitate." Just rolls off the tongue, and I always thought that'd be a fucking good album, man. And then I was watching Fuck This, I'm Buying a Gun, and one of the chapters is Do Not Resuscitate. I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, like I got that off my mum. She wore a bracelet that said that on her wrist. You know what I mean? She was very unwell with mental health issues and stuff, so she didn't want to be resuscitated. So again, there was dark shit that I put into that movie and that EP that was surrounded me that I didn't even probably realize till later on. You know, there was shit that was surrounded by and stuff. So I sort of feel where you're coming from with your song too. I've been meaning to do one about my mum as well. I just haven't had the heart to do it, man. To go back in there just yet. You know, it's still fairly fresh, couple years. So I'm like trying to write a song because I think that's you know, she deserves that, you know, the bare minimum. She always tried to support what I did and stuff. So and I think people relate to vulnerability, man. Like you were saying, you hope people hear your song about your sister, and I think people like to hear that. Like even if it's sad or depressing content, it's relatable for a lot of people, and people like to see vulnerabilities because we relate to each other via our vulnerabilities a lot more than our egos.
Yeah.
You know,
hence the name change from Beats. I don't I was saying last week.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. What's the new name?
So ACAB West. So like so my last name is beep. No, my last name's Western. So
Okay.
Because I was a paranoid prick when I was young and I was always up to no good. I'd never give my government name out to anywhere. So I'd always say I'm Jay West because my first name starts with J. So even at work, people call me Jay. They don't know my real name. So Jay West.
Yeah.
And then I just like that whole, ACAB, all cats are beautiful. So ACAB West, I just felt like it rolled off the tongue, and it's just like a rebranding to, I don't think what I'm going to say on this record will be received well if people think it's going to be beats. You know what I mean? So I had to sort of shed that skin, and kind of like with you with the flu, just leave it behind. People got to know it's me. And I've always done that on records. Like I've released a whole album under the pseudonym Red Wine, and people going, like, Red Wine, isn't that you? Isn't that you rapping? And I'm like, yeah. Like, well, why don't you just say it's beats? I'm like, because I want to confuse cunts. And like,
So, that's it.
So another track on there is lifted from the Red Wine release, and I put it in the production notes, produced by Red Wine. People don't know Red Wine is me, so well, they do now.
Yeah. I mean, think about humans, man. We're complex beings. We all have different sides to our personalities, man. So having those different sides represented in different names in your music, what's wrong? That's what's wrong with that. Yeah. It's a good thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? If anything, I'm surprised more people don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially I like that, having a producer name, having a rap name to sort of throw people off a little bit. All right, so how can people find you? You're not very big on social media, but do you want to give your Instagram a plug so people can find you?
On social media, everything's under Flu Dust, FLUDUST. Yeah. As for Spotify, I don't have Spotify, so no idea how it works, man. No idea what you. It's on there, but if you follow me on social, you'll know what artists I've produced for. So then you can just type their names in, and sort of.
Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah, it'll come up, man. Like, you'll be able to be like, oh yeah, that's that Riggs album cover, Yeah. So, like I said, it's not the greatest way to go about it. That's just not a bit that I put a lot of time into. My time's pretty fucking important to me, so I'm just like, if you like general back pain bovine, just type in bovine or general back pain. It's gonna still have my stuff there because I produced it. As for finding my rap shit, I think there's a few Flus, but you should be able to scroll down or up and see it. Or just type in the album title.
That general back pain was dope, by the way. Yeah. So,
thanks, man.
So, just quickly before we go, is there any a Tough Kong interested in sort of like repressing some of them, like Flu Dust and Flu Season?
Look, I haven't spoken to him about that, man, because I'm always looking forward. So I'm always on to the next shit, man. So it's not really something that I don't think it would do that well. Even though people that know me as a producer there, I still think they might find the accent or the rapping a bit jarring. But see, for us, we grew up on English and American TV and culture. They know UK, but they don't know Australia culture and are used to our accents and shit. So it's a bit of it can be a little bit of a hurdle, but yeah, I'm happy with where I'm at, man. I'm just moving forward with each thing, man, on to the next.
Sounds good. All right. Focus on your mental health and stay away from drugs, kiddies. All right. Thanks for coming on, brother. I really appreciate it. Stay on, and
I appreciate it too.
I'll stop recording and we'll have a quick yarn before we go. We're bang on 2 hours, so maybe edit out a few burps and ums and ahs, and it should be good.
Yeah.
But, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Flu, aka Fluey, formerly known as Form. Great Cartel, Tough Kong, about to take over the motherfucking world. Thank you, brother, for coming on.
No, my pleasure, man. Thanks for reaching out, man. I appreciate your time, man.
No worries, bro. All right, peace, brother.
Later, man.